Hey guys, welcome to the Daily Devo. My name is Alex, and today we're talking about belonging to God's people. Have you ever wanted to belong to something? I think we all do. I remember the first time I went to a Denver Broncos game. I was maybe 12 or 13 years old, and I went to my favorite sports team's stadium. I watched from about 50 rows up, a team that I had so religiously watched on TV my whole life. And I'll never forget that whenever the defense would stop a pass, if you're not a sports person, that's a good thing in football, the announcer, as well as the fans, who were seemingly regulars, would yell at the top of their lungs, "Incomplete!" It wasn't until the defense had stopped 5, 6, 7, soon 12 passes where I started to catch on. This was something that we do as Broncos fans. We yell at the top of our lungs, "Incomplete!" After the 5th or 6th time that I yelled this in that Broncos stadium, I realized that I was a part of something. I wasn't just screaming at some players on a field trying to win a game, but I was a part of a movement, something bigger than myself, that, at least for a moment, made me feel pretty darn special. I belonged to the Denver Bronco fandom. I think that deep down in all of us, we desire to belong, to be part of something no matter what it is. But you belong to something. Whatever it is, maybe a club or a group or a church or a youth group, it's one reason why sports are so popular around the world. Because when you are a fan of a team, whatever team, you belong to something bigger than yourself. You can cheer on your squad from around other people that are like-minded and have a common purpose. I mean, could you imagine trying to cheer on your favorite team alone? That only one in the stadium, raising your voice with no one to look to when your team lost or celebrate when your team won? Seems kind of sad. Something that made the early church so unique to the world was the crazy, unwavering, undeniable community. A community that stuck by each other in the thick and thin. A community that provided for the needs of others, and a community that was centered around a common vision and purpose. You, my friend, in Jesus, are a part of this early church momentous distinction that is a community of believers. Hebrews reminds us of this by saying this in chapters 10, verses 23 and 24. "Let us hold tightly without wavering to the hope we affirm, for God can be trusted to keep his promise. Let us think in the ways that motivate one another to act in love and good deeds." The writer of Hebrews here is telling us a bit of what this community's purpose and vision was. One that professes the hope of Christ, who is the promised faithful one, and a community that has two major values, love and good deeds. We belong to something, a movement, a group. Now, I don't know if today you feel like an outcast because you don't have people. Maybe you feel alone. Oftentimes in our lowest moments, we desire to belong to anybody. And it's the first person that comes along and taps us on the shoulder and asks us to belong to their community that helps us feel like we're a part of something. For many of us, something is better than nothing. But if we take a step back for a moment and look at the groups that we belong to, what are the values of those groups? Is it a group that wants to take things from you? Or a group that wants to pour into you? What are the values of the groups that you belong in? The challenge of belonging is to ensure that we belong to a group that loves you for you and wants to spur you on to be more Christ-like. And that is the very nature of the new group of believers that you belong in Christ. This revolutionary body of believers that spurs each other on in love and good deeds. There really is no better group to belong to. So welcome, friends. You belong here.